Doc Tiki, can you also provide us an understanding, your understanding on how the other countries are regulating vaping? I'm sure you are fully aware also of the pending bills we have here in the Philippines. So how do they
Yeah.
compare to the Philippines?
Yeah. Quick answer is that you have a whole spectrum. Okay. You have countries who have been very supportive, have been very liberal, have been very encouraging towards facilitating access to vaping for smokers who want to quit. Two good examples will be the United Kingdom and
New
New
Zealand.
Zealand.
New
Okay,
Zealand.
where actually they actually have vape shops in their public hospitals.
Yes,
Okay, and
exactly.
government policy actively encourage it in terms of regulations. Then you have the countries on the other end of the spectrum. Okay, and unfortunately, the Philippines is heading in that direction. Singapore is in that category.
Direction.
India is in that category. Australia is in that category, where
Thailand.
basically Thailand basically say we are not convinced. We just ban them completely. Okay, don't even talk to us about it. Okay. However, most countries are in the middle. Okay, and that includes my own country in Indonesia, which I've just alluded to. The tobacco control people want to ban e-cigarettes, just like what the Philippines is doing. But the people in the Ministry of Finance said, look, we can put a tax on these products and earn money. So at the moment, it's still an open debate, okay, whether to ban or to provide some regulations. So that's sort of the broad answer. You have two groups of countries on the extreme, many more countries in the middle who either have no regulations or are still thinking about it. I'm a bit worried with what's happening in the Philippines because basically your proposal is to treat it as health products, basically. And that,
That's
by trying to basically equating vaping with cigarettes. And that is not the way to go. Like, banning flavorings, like limiting the amount of nicotine.
15.
Okay, I mean, if you limit it to 20, okay, it's not going to work because you need a certain minimum level of, I think, around 50 for the vape to actually give that satisfaction, that kick to the smoker in order to help them quit. So
Switch.
I think the government policy at the moment is going to be a little bit by equating it with combustible cigarettes. It's going to put vaping at a clear disadvantage. And yeah, I hope the door is still open for the government to put in regulations which is proportional to the risk. You cannot say that vaping is as risky as smoking.
Yeah, it
Okay,
should be very proportional.
I was at the congressional or Senate hearing last October,
Yeah.
November, but unfortunately, I sense at least that the people who want to ban it are quite powerful and they're quite well funded, as opposed to the small group of people like Richie and Lorenzo and people like me. We are just
Yeah.
sort of voices in the wilderness.
Wilderness.
But
So
I'm certainly going to keep pitching for it. I'm certainly going to keep going.
yeah,
Yeah, we'll be
I,
there.
I I was in Amsterdam late last year, and my vape broke, and I bought a local vape, and it had like the I don't know what the regulations are in the EU, but the nicotine levels were so low, it almost had no impact. So I
Exactly.
ended up getting an NRT, like a Tic Tac kind of NRT, and also vaping at the same time because I didn't want to go and buy a pack of cigarettes. So I can
And
see where you're coming
and
from.
yeah, and the ban on flavoring, other than tobacco flavor and menthol, that's also very counterproductive because that's one
Yep.
of the attractions so if you reduce nicotine level and you ban flavoring, the efficacy of these vaping products is going to go
Correct.
down dramatically. And what's going to happen? People are going to go back to
Same oil like
cigarettes.
smoking. Yeah,
Yeah.
And
that's right.
now I can't stand the smell of smoke, of cigarettes, of tobacco. I can't. I just can't. If I'm exposed to it for too long, my body physically reacts against it.
Yeah.
And I don't like tobacco flavored vape.
Yeah.
I like something mentholy, something that's the opposite of tobacco. Anything that is the opposite of tobacco, that's probably what I will go for.